Hi again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of RV Business Capital Talk, sponsored by Dicor Products. I'm Rick Kessler with RV Business. Joining me is Gregg Fore from RV Business, filling in for Sherman Goldenberg right now. And there's a reason why Gregg's with us, because joining us is David Hayes. David just recently sold Hayes RV Center in Longview, Texas, his family-owned dealership for 75 years, to Bish's RV earlier this month. David, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Rick. It's a pleasure, Gregg.
Thank you. Thank you, David.
I want to bring Gregg in right now because the two of you have a pretty good history.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. As we mentioned before we started going live here, David, you and I have known each other for about 40 years. Back when I was working for Coachman and we put a manufacturing facility in Longview, and you became a Coachman dealer and deliver our first unit. In fact, you sent me that photo just the other day, which was a great memory.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize either one of us, but back in the 80s, it was a different world. Your family, your father had a dealership in downtown Longview for a long time, and you moved it out at the time when you moved it in the 80s outside of town, which it no longer is, but it was outside of town at the time. But anyway, our relationship goes back such a long time, and I'm curious how you go through this process of all that time and now make this transition from a stalwart business in Longview, Texas, to some sort of retirement, and how you deal with that.
Well, Gregg, it was a very long process. As you can imagine, being the second generation of the dealership, it was, and having grown up here in Longview, and again, all the great customers we had and the people that I love that I work with. It was a very long process, fair amount of emotion involved. But at the end of the day, my wife and I and my partner, who is still with the business, we all decided that this was the best move for all of our families. And the things that we were looking for in a new owner, I think, centered around a few things that were really important. Number one, we wanted somebody who had similar values, and someone who would be a good citizen in our community and support things as we had done for many years. And then someone who would take care of our employees and embrace them, and someone who had a good reputation in the industry. And we feel like that we have found that, or had found that with this organization. We found the Jenkins, Troy Jenkins, and his wife and his management team. We spent quite a bit of time getting to know each other, and felt like that this was the right move for us to open the next chapter in our life.
Well, if the next chapter is as good as your last chapter, you have a lot of great things to look forward to, my friend. And I have no reason to believe that it won't be just as good. Tell me about the value of the relationships, David, over the years that you've built, both within the community and within the industry, and how that continues to impact you.
Well, I guess I'll start with the community. Our community has, we're a community, Longview is about 80,000 people. But we're still, I guess we're still considered a small town. There's lots of things, well, let me back up a little bit. One of the things that I felt a calling to when I became a business owner was to help others, and felt like that the opportunity to own a business and the things that you get from a business would help facilitate helping people through things in life, whether that be children ministries or university, locally university, and other charities in our community. And so it's been it's been rewarding in that respect. And the things that we've been able to do, the relationships that we've been able to build within the community have been are highly valued in my wife and I's heart. Moving on to the industry, it sure changed. I know when I first started in the industry, slide rooms were just they weren't doing them, and so it's changed so much. But one of the things that I have found is most of the people in the RV industry are really good people. They're family people. They care about their community, their employees, and some of the best friendships I have are with dealers that I've had a relationship with for many years. We continue to travel with some dealers that are now retired, and because we just love being with each other, and they're just good people.
Well, you share important values with a lot of those people. I'm fortunate that I know a lot of those same people that you have good relationships with, and I value their friendship as you do. You spent some time over the years involved in RVDA. Tell me about that and how it helped your business, how it helped you personally.
Well, I mean, RVDA is the spokesperson for our industry. They represent us, and so I feel like that's very important on a state and a national level. Some of the benefits that I feel like I have had from being in RVDA. I was a delegate for many years, and getting to see the inner workings of how RVDA works and the dedication that those people have and the sincerity that they have to do what's best for the industry was very enlightening. I've learned by participating in RVDA, it's opened up areas for continuing education, 20 group, things that I didn't necessarily know much about, but when involved in RVDA at the convention, for example, or in a 20 group, the information that I picked up has been very valuable in the success of our business that we've had.
Rick?
Yeah, I want to jump in. I always want to ask these types of questions. David, your mom and dad founded the dealership 1940. 47. Thank you. 47. It's got a great story because it sounds like they were dabbling in a few things here and there, and then it became camping equipment. Then RVs hit the lot, and things took off from there. You and your wife bought it in 1980. 86. Thank you. What was your first job at the dealership as a kid?
I'm sorry, we did buy it in 1980. Actually, it was November 1st of 1979. And if you remember what was going on in 1979, it was not good things.
Oh, it was not a good thing, David.
It was a really bad time to own an RV dealership. But going back to, you asked the question, what were some of my duties?
Yeah, what'd you start out doing?
Sweeping the lot,
Yep.
washing units. The part of downtown we were in was a at one time was a pretty popular area, and my father and my mom and dad, they opened up a golf service station there.
Okay.
And he was a bit of an outdoorsman, and he dabbled in different things. We sold fishing license, fishing gear, started renting some things like tents, Coleman stoves, lawnmowers, things like that. And someone came by with a fold-down camping trailer, and my dad thought that would be something good to have to rent. And so I don't know if you know the name, but it was a camping trailer called Nimrod.
Oh my goodness.
And
Oh my.
yeah, but anyway, basically a tent on a box.
Sure.
But did that for several years, and that proved to be successful, and people had an interest in buying his rental fleet as he cycled it out. And so that sparked the idea of doing more in the RV space. So that's how it got started.
So in the operations now, not Bish's RV, but the operations now include what? What kind of brands, what kind of lines, facilities?
We have my wife says I got to quit saying we, because I don't have it anymore. But there's the facility is about 22,000 square feet, and I think we have 12 service bays. They do a lot of service on all types of products.
Sure.
And we carry Jayco and all the Jayco products, and several Forest River travel trailer lines, fifth wheel lines, Wildcat, Cherokee, Sierra.
Being 75 years old, how many generations of customers have come through your doors?
Well, that's hard to say. I know when I first started in the industry, most of the time I would see somebody under 30 years old or 35 or 35 years, is when they were coming with their parents to pick up the RV. But one of the things that makes a person feel good is when that second or third generation comes back and said, I want my kids to experience what I got to experience.
Yeah.
And the memories that we had camping. And so that's I think that's one of the rewards of the longevity of seeing that happen with 3-4 generations of people. They'll come in and they'll say, some of the best memories I ever had was camping with my family.
Well, I'm going to say this for you. One of the best things you ever had was being in business and buying the dealership from your dad and your mother. You represent, David, the stalwart of our industry. You represent the structure that we were built on, with independent family-owned dealerships in towns across America. Yeah. And you've been part of that fabric for a long time, and you deserve applause and for that. You've done it respectfully. You've done it without standing on the barrel and yelling. But you've done it as a great citizen, and I think that says a lot about who our industry is and where it came from. And you're an important part of that, which is why we wanted you on this show, because you represent a part of our industry that may never be the same again. Okay. Fortunately or unfortunately, but it's an important part that we don't ever want to forget. So I want to really thank you for your wisdom and for your service, not only to your community, but to the others in the industry and what you represent. And I'd like to offer you the opportunity to add whatever you want to add here at the end.
Wow, you've made me look so good. I don't know that I could add anything. Um, I don't know that I really need to add anything, Greg. I think what's been said pretty much covers the things that I'd like to share. Um, I do agree with you that good or bad, our industry is changing very, very rapidly, and the the mom and pops, if you will, of the RV industry are becoming fewer and fewer. But the industry has been really good to me and my family, and I think if we do our job, if they do their job right, it will continue to be a very rewarding industry.
And I'll close it with this. I agree with everything you just said. And as long as we all remember, we are in the business of selling family memories, we'll be just fine.
Agreed. Our tagline is family, fun, adventure.
Very good.
Yeah.
David, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, David. It's been special. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.